Уважаемые коллеги, дамы и господа, рад приветствовать всех вас в Кремле.
I welcome you here
Впервые
at the
на
Kremlin for the first time.
совместной
We are
площадке
having
собрались
such a
российские и
joint
китайские
platform for
предприниматели, представители
organizing the meeting
общественности,
between the representatives of our
медиасообщества,
countries, mass media, societies, all those who every day work diligently to lay a proper foundation for cooperation between the two countries in the spheres of economy, information, humanitarian sphere and other spheres as well, really contributing to the reinforcement of mutual understanding and friendship. We've just completed our talks with Mr. Xi, and we discussed in detail the status and the conditions of our relations, laying proper groundwork for further work. Successful implementation of our relations is bound to happen thanks to the activity of the business and social circles and support from the mass media. Also, we rely on the Committee of Friendship, Peace and Cooperation, which unites businessmen, heads of agencies and regions, figures of culture, mass media representatives. For 20 years, this committee had been working for the successful realization of relations between the two countries. In 2016, under the aegis of that relation, we had more than 100 successful events in the spheres of innovation, healthcare, education, sports, and other areas as well. This year, we plan to conduct 180 more events. Some new initiatives. We do hope that the Committee of Friendship, Peace and Cooperation will continue to actively contribute inherited its status from the Society for the Friendship between China and USSR, which started in 1957. It was working in order to establish friendly relations between the societies of the two countries, uniting all those who really care and value the relations between the peoples of our countries, all those who really value the culture and the history of China. Today, this entity organizes many events, reinforcing the student and people-to-people relations, establishing cooperation between the regions of our countries. I would like also to acknowledge the activity and the work of the chambers of China, which work for the trade in mechanical and other equipment, which also helps to unite our countries around these trade initiatives, as well as those who contribute to the enhancement of our trade in the spheres of innovations, transportation and non-resource trade initiatives. And this is the Yamal gas initiatives, the grain and crops terminal, and other initiatives which include not only working on the territory of Russia but also on the territory of China. Also, mass media do contribute to the establishment of proper ties between the countries. They certainly do all they can to create the atmosphere of trust and mutual understanding between Russia and China, and reinforcing our positions in the world. They, in time, deliver up-to-date and very accurate information about the life and the activities within our countries on the international arena. With your whole help, for 2 years in a row, we've been successfully implementing the years of Russian and Chinese mass media. That initiative encompasses many festivals, exhibitions, conferences, and video conferences as well. We've put into start the production of films, and also today we are working to create a new animation series which would involve both Russian and Chinese specialists. Also, we are having a media forum which involves more than 120 representatives of the leading major mass media news networks of Russia and China. Also, I'd like to mention the agreement to start the broadcasting of the Katyusha channel in China. That will be the first Russian channel available for the Chinese audience. I would like to thank you all for all that work and for your attention. Thank you.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, friends, I'm very happy to meet everyone here. First of all, I would like to express to the friendly Russian people, to the Committee on Friendship and Development and Peace of Russia and China, to the media and business representative, express my sincere good feelings. Our countries and our friendship are becoming more and more close. Russia is the country that I visited most since I became the head of state in China. Throughout many years, China and Russia are good neighbors, good friends, and good partnership. We are guided by the spirit of the strategic cooperation, and we have established an example of relations between big countries. Cooperation and mutual benefit is a historical choice of our countries, and it is also a basis for establishing an open and prosperous world. Regardless of how the situation changes outwards, we are still determined to develop our relations. Today, everyone who is present here has the desire to pertain the friendship of China and Russia, and are also willing to promote China and Russia practical cooperation. Throughout many years, you are putting a lot of effort to promote friendship between China and Russia and to advance practical cooperation. This reflects our determination to promote comprehensive relations of strategic partnership and cooperation between Russia and China. Today, this year is the 20th anniversary of the establishing of the Committee for Friendship, Peace and Development between our two countries, which became a channel of friendly contacts between our two countries. It has promoted cooperation in the areas of humanitarian, interregional, business and media, and other areas. It played an important role in increasing mutual understanding and friendship between our two countries and peoples. It also promoted healthy and successful development of comprehensive relations of strategic partnership and interaction. This year is also the year of 60th anniversary of establishing of Soviet-Chinese Society of Friendship, which promotes the spirit of friendship between the two countries. And it has consolidated a lot of people who are committed to this initiative and spirit. It promoted cooperation in the areas of science and technology, youth and border cooperation. It played an important role in strengthening the public basis of China's-Russian relations. This year is also the final year of cross years of two countries' media. Within this format, the two sides conducted more than 100 colorful events. In Moscow, we have completed the third Russian-Chinese Media Cooperation Forum. The contacts between the media are intensifying from day to day, and this helps to strengthen the relations between the two countries, increases mutual understanding and friendship between two peoples, as well as increases the right of speech of the media of two countries on the international level. Earlier this year, trade volume between China and Russia preserves positive dynamics, and practical cooperation is deepening continuously. Russia is the first source of oil and electricity imports to China. Yamal LNG project is successfully progressing. Investment and financial cooperation is expanding steadily. Both sides are promoting practical cooperation and alignment of interests. They have established the basic principle of mutual benefit and win-win. This has also close connection to the great efforts of businessmen of the two countries. And I hope that practical cooperation between China and Russia will provide even more fruits and results. Ladies and gentlemen, nowadays, China and Russia relations are experiencing the best period in history. This is the result of joint efforts of the two countries throughout a long time. I hope that through our joint efforts, we will be able to lend more impetus for the further development of China-Russia relations. I hope that we will be able to continue to promote China-Russia relations development and bring benefit to the peoples of Russia and China, as well as to become a positive force of stability and security in the world and region. Sound and stable relations between China and Russia are desired by the peoples of the two countries. I hope that we will be able to contribute more wisdom and power to the development of our relations. I hope that you will continue to be the promoters of China-Russia friendship, strengthen China-Russia eternal friendship. I hope that Russia-China Friendship, Peace and Cooperation Committee and China-Russia Society of Friendship, as well as the media, will show their advantages in strengthening cooperation, increasing understanding, and lending more positive power to unofficial friendship between China and Russia. I hope that you will expand practical cooperation between China and Russia. Our development strategies have a lot of places when we can make link and integration. China is now trying to put into practice the great China dream and Russia is also striving to revive the country and economy. I hope that the businessmen of the two countries will continue to put diligent efforts into deepening practical cooperation between China and Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, China and Russia are neighbors and good neighbors. They have a common border of more than 4,000 kilometers, which connects us closely together. Let us go hand in hand in order to strengthen friendly relations. I hope that the people of the two countries will be able to achieve their best dreams. Thank you.
Colleagues, and now I would like to ask and to give the floor to those who are present here, to our colleagues from different agencies whom I mentioned, and Mr. Bondarchuk can start. He is the head of the Council for the Committee for Friendship, Peace and Development between Russia and China, head of the landfill company. Mr. Putin, Mr. Xi, friends, colleagues, on behalf of the Russian-Chinese Committee for Friendship, Peace and Development, I welcome you here in Kremlin. Well, within the last years, developing the constructive development with our countries, which is called We Are to Be Friends for a Century, the two countries have been paying special attention to the development of informal cooperation and interaction, not only at the level of governmental agencies, but also social entities, and just people-to-people relations are also being reinforced. And we have the Russian-Chinese Committee for Peace, Friendship and Development just for that. And the purpose of that entity is to enhance the understanding between the societies, pushing forward cooperation in the spheres of innovations, culture, sports, religion and other areas as well. Speaking about the working organs of that committee are the 16 committees headed by the representatives of the social and business circles. This year, this committee celebrates its 20th anniversary, and for us it is very important that this very day, this very year, very important year, representatives of the committee are seeing the heads of China and Russia here. Within the last year, we've implemented more than 100 events in the spheres of business, culture, sports, education, healthcare services. We also have completed successfully the organization of exhibitions, lectures, for all those aspiring to know more about Russia and about China. Also, we've been working actively to organize the annual regular forum for middle and small-sized businesses. It took part 2015 in Beijing, and 2016 it took place in Sochi. It involved more than 1,000 entrepreneurs from the two countries, and the next forum will also be held in China. That will be another turning point in our development. Among other projects implemented by the committee is the Trans-Border and Electronic Trade Forum, which also brought several hundred companies for the benefit of the trade between the two countries. The Investment Forum also involved and brought into cooperation different investment and venture funds. Also, we had successfully implemented different marathons for students in China. We also have cultural exchanges within the framework of the Beijing Cultural Festival, also Sports Forum, which was called the Cooperation in the Sphere of Sports. Also, we promote actively the exchange and incubators on the level of students. First of a kind was opened on the 30th of July 2016 in Khabarovsk, and 2017, this year, we are also going to open several incubators in Yekaterinburg, Ufa and Moscow. We are to implement more than 180 projects for the sake of the successful development of relations between China and Russia. We also plan to stimulate the exchange between the sports, universities and teams, enhancing the cooperation in the sphere of social relations. Also, we are to build up the momentum in what concerns the musical exchanges and music cooperation. And that is why we have the Chinese exhibition house on the territory of the exhibition center, which is called the Vida Nha. We've signed the full-lateral agreement on cooperation, strategic cooperation, to create the international healthcare center called One Belt, One Road. Also, the committee and the council for the handicapped people, we are working actively to prepare everything for the Paralympic Games, which are to take place in 2018, and we've been supported by our Chinese side in what concerns the access of our sportsmen to the competition, and we support in our turn the participation of the Chinese team and Chinese organizers being promoted to the position of the head of the Paralympic Committee. We assure that the key goal of our council, of our organization, is to find new ways ways to broaden contacts between the societies. If we find it difficult to find a solution to some problem on the level of state and government, then we can resort to public diplomacy and to diplomacy executed by the society and by the business circles. And thank you for your attention. Thank you. Now I give the floor to the head of the Russian-Chinese Committee of Friendship, Peace and Cooperation, please.
President Xi Jinping, President Putin, ladies and gentlemen, friends. First of all, I cordially thank you for the warm reception of us in Russia. The heads of Russia and China have met, are putting efforts, and they are consolidating our committee through our committee of business and media representatives. It has profound influence. We are very thankful for this. I think this has great meaning, and it promotes our participation. Today is the 20th anniversary of our committee. Under the support of the two leaders and under the mutual efforts of two countries, the committee now encompasses 16 subcommittees and covers many areas of cooperation. And the formats of our cooperations are being enriched continuously. It has great representativeness. It is one of the important channels of Russian and Chinese diplomacy. It promotes the spirit of eternal friendship and establishes good public opinion for the development of China and Russia relations. And it makes closer the distance between China and Russia, becoming an important force in unofficial contacts. Throughout the 20 years, the relations of strategic partnership have overcome many difficulties and challenges. They can be called the example of relations between big countries. So we can say that the relations between the two countries are reaching higher and higher levels. Today, one can say that our relations have reached a very good level, but they should reach even better level, because we have a basis for this. Our committee should make more work to adapt to the needs of today. I will also, along with the Russian partners, will try to strengthen Russian and Chinese friendship on the unofficial basis in order to promote the concept of Russian-China friendship and advance our friendly cooperation and make it and elevate it to a higher level, make it more effective, and make it serve China and Russia development. I express cordial thanks to President Xi Jinping and President Putin.
Well, we all know about the efficiency of our trade ties and trade work, and we mean the current operations, and we work on major projects in most different spheres of work, and that is the aerospace sphere and aviation and energy projects, which is one of the key tracks of our cooperation. I'll give the floor to Mr. Mikhail San, member of the Russian-Chinese Business Council, head of the Novatech company. Mr. Putin, Mr. Xi, General Secretary, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be here and to speak in front of such an honorable audience. The biggest project, which is the Yamal LNG, with the output of more than 16 million tons, is being implemented by the two companies, the Total company and by the One Belt, One Road initiative organizations. We are working on the first pipe and we are going to start the production by the end of this year. Then we will work on the second and this third stage, reaching the planned output, and that will allow us to be not the ninth but the fifth country in the world in terms of the LNG production. I'd like to thank you, Mr. President of Russia and General Secretary of the Communist Party of China, for the support you gave us, which is very timely, and that is because of the difficult political situation in the world. Thanks to the financial support, we succeeded in implementing the agreement in time. Many countries today reorientate towards gas because gas is environmentally friendly and because it's very competitive in terms of its price. The structure of the gas market is changing and LNG is acquiring more and more popularity, if we may say so, and we expect that it will increase by 1.5 times, and the LNG will have a 2 times more share than today. Especially that is something for the Asia-Pacific region. We are working on the next project, which is called Arctic LNG-2 on the Magadan Peninsula. The output of these two projects will amount to 35 million tons, which is almost a half of the Qatar LNG project. The Resource Foundation will allow us to have more projects later on. Very short distance and low cost of extraction will make that project wonderfully competitive in what concerns the exports to the countries of the Asian-Pacific region and China. Across the Northern Sea route, we can transport the goods and LNG in 16 days, while the US route takes 21 days. We are working very diligently on creating the infrastructure which would make it possible to navigate all year round using the Northern Sea route. We expect that the gas share will be increasing, and I mean the share of the Russian LNG companies. We hope that we will have more successful cooperation with China in the future. Thank you. Head of the Russian-Chinese Business Council, please, you have the floor.
President Xi, President Putin, I am the Chinese head of Russian-Chinese Business Council. I am very honored to represent the committee and make a short report here under the strategic leadership of Presidents Xi and Putin, under the support of Committee for Friendship, Peace and Development between the two countries. The business persons of the two countries are very clearly seeing the problems and challenges within our cooperation. That is why they put a lot of effort into promotion of, in the creation good conditions for promotion of practical cooperation. We have great potential for trade and economic development. After the initiative of One Belt, One Road being put forward by President Xi Jinping, we have reached a lot of fruitful results in the areas of transportation, communication, and so on. The trade volume between the two countries in the previous year grew by 21%, which creates good opportunity for cooperation between Russian and Chinese enterprises. Being a good platform for development of cooperation between the two countries, our Council helps to promote projects in the energy, including midstream and downstream, which helps to implement projects in the areas of technology and manufacturing. We will promote financial development cooperation. This will help our financial structures to promote national currency settlements and financial cooperation, which will increase not only the volume but also the quality of cooperation. We will put efforts into creation of a better environment for trade and economic cooperation, including expertise and standards recognition. We will establish mechanisms for contacts between two countries and facilitate trade, creating a more effective environment for our trade and economic cooperation. We are set together with the Russian party to promote Chinese and Russian entrepreneurs' mutual understanding, trust and cooperation. We will promote the linking of construction of Silk Road Economic Belt and Eurasian Economic Union. We will put efforts into enriching the contents of cooperation between the two countries.
And finally, the third most important sphere of our interaction cooperation, presented by our colleagues, and that is the mass media, and cooperation in that sphere is very important to us. And I give the floor to Ms. Simonian, Editor-in-Chief of the RT channel. Mr. Putin, Mr. Xi, glad to see you here in Moscow and to see you together at one table. It is an honor to be here, delivering a speech in front of the leaders of our countries and the major mass media. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Ernst, who successfully launched another Russian channel in China. We talked much about that. We've signed 18 more agreements between the mass media circles of our countries. And we can only say that it's absolutely of utmost importance to work together. And why? Because we are living in unique times when the mass media, the fourth column, as some say, in some countries turns out to be the first column, the real power, changing the rules of the game, changing and shaping opinions of people, and sometimes changing even the values of some societies. That fourth column is not elected by anyone. No one has entrusted it with changing the life of people, but sometimes it changes, and its influence sometimes is far greater than the influence of military operations. And none of the wars of the recent times have started without the operation of the mass media. No bombing takes place without the coverage of mass media. Sometimes mass media can make one man a hero of the generation, for example, Barack Obama, or maybe a hero of the generation like Julian Assange can be deemed to be a marginal person. Sometimes mass media change the borders of the countries. Kosovo could not exist without the unilateral and one-sided coverage by the world media, the so-called mainstream media, and the way they portray the conflict in Yugoslavia. The power of mass media, sometimes unlimited, can be exerted for the good when we fight tyranny, corruption, injustice, and other evils of the world. But sometimes it can be used for the bad, for the worst things, changing the international relations and portraying things in a different way. You all remember the Imran boy who was called to be the consequence of the Assad's actions. His photo was on all websites of the mass media because he was recovered from the debris of the video. And we found the family of that guy, and his family, his father, supports Assad and his regime. And he told us when his child was taken from his hands, and you all know what kind of organization we're talking about. about. They took the photos and gave those photos to the journalists, and no one wants to hear that from that man, father of that boy. We all see informational terrorism today, and our countries, Russia and China, have been the target of many fake news, and that fake news trap. Many people in the world get trapped in the fake news, and while now even the respected media are actively broadcasting and publishing fake news to the benefit of certain leaders in certain countries. The President of France, Emmanuel Macron, they are blaming our channel and RT and Sputnik for publishing and promoting fake news, but we've never published any fake news, anything which they mention, but no one pays attention to that. In Russia, we call it shifting the blame, shifting the responsibility. That was just the same thing with the messages of Ms. Clinton, and no one was interested to know about what kind of information was revealed in her messages, and everyone was interested only in knowing who revealed those messages, who leaked them, and they said it was some Russian hacker or hackers, and that is why we need to find new resources different from the mainstream media. We can name only several channels, major channels. We can tell the truth about the Imran boy, well, some other boy like him. So we are the only ones, almost the only ones who are standing proudly against the mainstream media. The world where there is only one voice is a very dangerous world where one, with the help of the mainstream media, can bomb countries, creating Al-Qaeda and ISIS. We have supported the initiative, and we suggested to fight the terrorism together. Maybe we in our sphere can avoid making the same mistakes, and we invite you, our Chinese colleagues, to fight informational terrorism together. We have many opportunities to unite our efforts, and we need to harvest that potential. Our channels are to be freely accessible to the people of Chinese. Sometimes, unfortunately, they are accessible only to the foreigners in the hotels, and the people of China cannot access them. That's about trust. We are ready all we can to make it possible so that the trust would be really there, and we want our channels to be broadcast freely in China, as Chinese channels enjoy unlimited opportunities in Russia. We suggest that the government of China can inform all the mass media about the opportunity to cooperate with us. We are ready to present all materials and content absolutely free of charge to our friends, and these materials are really high quality. We want to have more high quality media today, which can confront the unilateral, one-sided mainstream voice. We have already received some colleagues from China for the internship here, and we are ready to make that a long-term project. The Our China Council for Cooperation and Mass Media, his head has visited Russia, and he said that we are a good example for Chinese mass media, and we're ready to train your journalists and to send our journalists to China in order to learn about your experience, because we are sure that your experience is very valuable. It will help us too. We need to have more voices. They will fight us, but we should be getting tempered and hardened and working together, and we are ready to work together. And thank you for your attention. Thank you so much. That was very confident and reassuring. And now I give the floor to our Chinese friend and counterpart, please.
President Xi Jinping, President Putin, colleagues and friends, facing the new historical conditions, China and Russia country leaders pay great attention to cooperation between Russia and China's media. They have promoted the project of cross years of China-Russia media, and they have participated in important events within these cross years. Many cooperation agreements between media were signed, which opened a new situation of cooperation. It encompasses three directions. First one is the establishing of effective cooperation mechanism, which includes various authorities on Chinese and Russian sides, which are putting into practice the plans of two governments with respect to media cooperation, which expands the scope of such cooperation and creates new platforms of cooperation. Throughout the third year, Russian-Chinese Media Forum is held successfully, becoming the carrier of such cooperation and the promoter of China-Russia development strategies implementation. Throughout the 2 years, we have conducted 180 cooperation projects which have brought significant results. And there are many people who now are able to see more and receive more information about Russia and China in both countries. Katyusha TV channel will start broadcasting in China. Now, today, Putin President and Xi President have received many representatives of media, which will help us to go on with our work on increasing trust and understanding between the two people and elevate the cooperation level of media of the two countries, creating a better future for cooperation.
Friends, well, the protocol of our meeting and very contentful working schedule doesn't give us an opportunity to go deeper into details about each and every track of our cooperation, though each and every track of utmost importance for our countries. I mean, the humanitarian ties, the business circles, the cultural aspects of our work, and the mass media, certainly. We've only touched and only scratched the surface of it. And we would like to stress how important each and every of these tracks is. Without your active work, the cooperation between our countries wouldn't be that good and wouldn't yield such good results as we want to achieve and the people want to see. I would like to thank you for your diligent work, and I wish you success in all your endeavors. Thank you.
Now we have heard very representative reports which make us have a lot of new ideas. I hope that we will make more efforts, everyone on their position, in order to deepen the comprehensive cooperation between Russia and China. China's Russian Committee of Friendship, Peace and Development, Russian-Chinese Friendship Society should continue to put efforts into promoting friendship between the two countries. The media of the two countries should promote mutual understanding between the peoples of Russia and China and promote achieving more results in cooperation, as well as increase the right of voice on the international level. A business person should use the opportunity of fast development of relations between Russia and China. I am sure that under the joint efforts of everyone, China and Russia comprehensive strategic partnership and interaction relations will develop even better and will bring more benefits to the peoples of the two countries. Thank you.